Welcome to Elevate, the podcast that inspires you to reach new heights. Each episode brings you motivating conversations and transformative insights that empower you to level up. Whether you're seeking guidance or a burst of inspiration, you're in the right place. Let's elevate your life. Let's elevate your future. Starting now. Welcome to Elevate Podcast, where through these sound waves you take a step upward. I want to make sure I welcome my fellow elevators, if you will, those of us that were in that special Group 11 in the UPW seminar. I wanted to create this podcast for a space for every single one of us in this group, not just me personally, but for all of us to contribute if you so desire. So with that being said, I have a couple of things that I'd like to maybe start doing with everything. The structure of the podcast can be anything from exercises of how we can introduce weekly challenges to our listeners and to ourselves to help them grow and elevate, a particular area of their life. Maybe something about, a moment of reflection where we put out a story in the front where someone has recently leveled up and have done something extraordinary or about to do something extraordinary. Guru Gravitas is a section that we could have, where we interview a guest expert on personal growth and development, and seeking advice from them, how we can elevate and continue our momentum. That's one of the biggest things I took away from this weekend was momentum. If we don't keep momentum, our success will not happen. How do we do that? Well, we created a Facebook page. John created a web page. We are very active in the Telegram app. We are very active in general on the chat during the show, during the event. That's how we keep momentum. We reach out to one another out of the kindness and the goodness of elevating our fellow elevators, if you will. So with that being said, I welcome everybody to subscribe to this podcast. We will definitely have everybody from our Elevate group on who wants to be on. Right now, let's just do it in audio so we don't have to have the worry about video. Maybe someday down the line, if people want to start doing video to get out of their comfort zone, we could set that up as well. I've ran a couple of podcasts before, so this is just my very first one where I'm kind of just going at it solo. I've always had collaborators with me with other podcasts. I don't want to go at it only solo. I want this to be an Elevate podcast where the elevators, if you will, I laugh every time I say elevators. I don't know why. Because I guess we're all elevators. We're trying to elevate ourselves, one another, anybody else we come in contact with. I've had conversations with a couple of you already, and I'm telling you right now, we have some special people in this group 11, and which we have coined the term elevate with the one L changing to two ones and extending that elevate. You can see it on the podcast description. We will have some shirts that we can purchase and do some form of charity event. With that being said, where we can maybe the first run is just for the elevators, and then we create other designs for other people that want to elevate their life, especially once they become introduced to our podcast or anything else that we create. I invite any of the other creators in this Elevate group that would like to chip in. Please don't hesitate. I will have my email address in the description below. Email me your ideas. There is no stupid idea. I am not the owner of any of this. I am just the creator of it. That's the difference. I just want to have a place where we can feel that we're putting our thoughts out into the world and helping one another and helping ourselves, and then ultimately bringing other people into this elevate mindset. That's one of the biggest things that I think I've learned from Dean and Tony is that you have to have success. You have to have momentum. To have success, you have to have momentum. To have momentum, you need a tribe, or they call it the peer group. This is our tribe. This is our peer group. This is where it can all start. This is the catalyst. This is the time to step up and actually do something that we've always wanted to do. I know myself, I spent 2.5 years trying to create some stuff that I've been trying to create. And because of Tony and Dean, I've actually started creating it. I'm in the process of creating my course for first responders and their mental well-being. I cannot wait to show everybody, those who need it as first responders, those who need it, meaning the folks that are, that have a first responder and that they love, they can introduce them to it. Friends, I have something that is coming to this world that I know deep in my heart is going to be extraordinary. And this is just part of that path. I believe that I was introduced to all of you to help me bring that message to the world for my own purposes, meaning to fulfill a dream that I've had for the last couple of years of doing this for first responders that would go beyond the lives that they save to actually save their life. Because I'm not sure if you know this, but first responders they have the highest divorce rate. Police officers, and it's specifically a first responder who has the highest suicide rate over death in line of duty. So there is not enough mental health help out there for first responders. There is some people are creating things. I want to create more. And I believe part of that process is doing this podcast and having this Elevate series where we can bring other people into this podcast and actually expose everyone in the world to the excellence that we saw over the last 4 days. I know it was my very first UPW. Others have had it a couple of times or one other time, so they knew what to expect. There was some definite things that were going on that were higher than I could even imagine, that were changing lives left and right inside of that seminar. Things that are outside of our comfort zone, the meditation, the reflection, the thinking about things, the visualizing things. That could be something that people have never done before. I myself am a visual person, but I never did a specific exercise where I really, really focused on getting those images in front of me, reaching out and grabbing them. So I just invite everybody to, like and subscribe this podcast. Tell your friends about it. Please reach out to me with the email below if you want to help out. I kind of envision this being not only one host, meaning me. That's not what I want. I want other people that have the ability to record, in a decent sounding area, so we have a good quality product out there to be able to make an episode and we can launch it. If we can get everybody in our Elevate group to make episodes, if they want to make episodes or something that's on their mind, maybe we can have some form of structure that people can kind of follow and do their own thing. I mean, like I said, the things I've thrown out so far are just ideas, moment of reflection, the Elevate exercises, guru gravitas, where we get somebody on, quick rise tips. That's another thing I thought of, bite-sized advice and techniques to listeners that can implement immediately, things that they can do immediately to make change in their life. Thought-provoking questions for listeners each episode that encourage them to ponder it and respond, and to kind of just foster that community involvement. So I don't know, that's just me, Kyle Goodnight, just trying to make something that is special and do something that is above me, that other people can add to their repertoire. I believe that this has never been done before, I don't think, that I've seen, where we have a group of people that can contribute to a podcast if they feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, if you've always wanted to start a podcast, this is it. I've kind of started one so you can just download Audacity, click record on a decent microphone or someplace quiet. Even our phone microphones are really, really good. You could record this in the memo of your cell phone in a closet. That's where I started my voiceover career, was in my walk-in closet. The clothes create amazing sound dampening. Trust me, go try it. Go do a little monologue on your phone and listen to it back. Now, I'll warn you, the very first time you hear your voice back, if you have ever heard yourself on video camera or any type of recording, you do not like it. Ignore it. Ignore it. because do not let that weird sound have a negative effect of putting content out there and sending it to me so I can post it on the podcast just because you don't like the way your voice sounds. Trust me when I tell you, I've had training in this. Our voice sounds different to us. It's because of the structure of our head and the resonance of our airways and our skull and how our bones, our ear bones hear us in the wild, if you will. But then when you hear it back, you hear the raw version. The one thing that I have everybody ask themselves when it comes to them thinking that their voice sounds different to others because of the way they hear it back, I ask a stranger or someone else they know, listen, when you listen to somebody on audio, this person, let's say person A, person A talks into the microphone like I'm doing right now. And then person A plays that out loud towards someone else they know. And then you ask them, does this person sound like this person sounds when you're in front of them? So person A asks person B, listen to my voice on this audio device. Do I sound the same as I do right now talking to you? And every single time that person B says yes. The only person that sounds weird to is us ourselves. I'm very used to the sound of my own voice now because I've been doing voiceover for 5 years. So I've listened back to my voice a countless amount of hours. So don't let any type of resistance to hearing your voice back on audio stop you. Just know that all of us hear you as we would hear you in front of you or on audio. You're the only one that has that weird sound to you. Other than that, just wanted to invite everybody, like I said, emails in the bottom, send me an email, let me know how you would want to help out. If this is very uncomfortable for you to think about doing this, no rush. This is going to be on a podcast hosting site that I opened up for free right now, and it will be there forever. As long as we contribute to it, it will always be there. If later on it gets bigger and we need to upgrade things, maybe we can offer our t-shirts up to support the podcast. I don't know. Ideas, anybody that's out there that's a marketing person or deals with stuff that people can buy off of websites to help support a podcast like this. We can think of all that stuff later. No idea is a bad idea. And remember, this is not my podcast. This is our podcast. And I want to get it to the point where if it's growing and it's getting bigger than I can keep up with, but somebody else is able to add to it and keep up with it, I'm totally fine with that. This is a gift for us, the elevators. Every time I say it, I laugh. I don't know why. I'll get used to us calling ourselves elevators, or those who elevate others. Elevators. So, okay, I'm done rambling. Like I said, just don't hesitate to reach out. I can be found pretty much anywhere on the web. Kyle Goodnight, K in the middle of my last name, GOODKNIGHT, or just email me. Let me know your thoughts. So, thanks for listening to this first introductory Elevate episode. Let's keep climbing and elevating ourselves and others to the next level. And always embrace the journey, and let's rise together. Take care, everybody.